That's Pete Hegseth violating the First Amendment, holding a prayer service at the Pentagon with Pastor Doug Wilson, who has been trying to create a theocracy separate from the United States in his hometown of Moscow, Idaho, which, in case you forgot, is a haven for neo-Nazis. This is your Sharia law, but it's for Christians, so it's perfectly okay, especially when we're dropping 13,000 bombs in 5 weeks on Muslims and destroying about 120,000 civilian infrastructure, 120,000 buildings, civilian buildings in Iran in 5 weeks. Pastor Doug, that's him on the left, and Pete Hegseth, who worships Pastor Doug more than he worships Jesus Christ. I mean, Pastor Doug is a Christian who thinks Jesus isn't sufficiently Christian. Pastor Doug and Pete Hegseth believe America just isn't a Christian nation. They believe that our Constitution, our laws, our government should be subservient to the teachings of Jesus. And they don't believe in democracy. They don't. They don't believe all people are created equal. Pastor Doug has said this. The Guardian has written extensively on this. Pastor Doug believes there are leaders and there are those who need to be led. And Pastor Doug and Pete Hegseth and Pastor Pottinger, they believe there are those who lead and those who are to be led, and they believe the leaders, the only real leaders, not readers, certainly not readers, leaders, the only leaders can be found among the elders in Pastor Doug's church. And they don't believe women should be allowed to vote. Remember, Pete Hegseth got into trouble when he said women should not serve in the military, in combat. They're not equipped to fight. They believe women should not be allowed to vote, and that children should be spanked painfully. In other words, beat your kids. Beat your kids. And boys, this is according to an article in The Guardian, boys should be taught, quote, the theology of fist fighting. Right. That's what turn the other cheek means. The theology of fist. Where in the New Testament is Jesus preaching the theology of fist fighting? The classical Christian education that Pastor Doug has come up with the curriculum for. What CCE, the classical Christian education, this is the education Hegseth is giving his children down in Tennessee, and it is designed to train soldiers for Christ. And what they do to Muslims in Iran and Iraq and in Yemen and in Gaza, they do to Muslims here in America and anybody else who is not a straight white Christian douchebag. Unless you're a straight white male Christian douchebag, what they're doing to the Iranians, they will do to you here in the United States. It's why, after the 100-year wars in Europe and Protestants fighting Catholics and Jews being expelled and the Crusades, after living or reading about that, our founding fathers, the number one amendment to the Constitution is take your religious beliefs and shove them where the sun don't shine, because that's where they came from. They were deists. They didn't believe organized religion had any place in the public square. But why would you expect Pete Hegseth to read the Constitution when he clearly hasn't read the New Testament?